This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Yunxiao sucked in a cold breath. Mo Xiaochuan's face was cold, and the heat waves from his body were constantly blowing at him, giving him a bone-chilling feeling. His eyes were red, just like the flowing liquid of the Southern Fire gold crystal mine. When the familiar face appeared in front of Yunxiao, his mind was thrown into chaos. Bits and pieces of memories emerged in his mind, and his emotions fluctuated violently like a tidal wave. He could not help but tremble slightly. In everyone's eyes, it was as if Yunxiao was trembling under the pressure of the other party's aura, and their hearts felt like they were being crushed by a huge rock. Yunxiao's strength was obvious to all, and if even he could not compete with him, what were they supposed to do? Tan Dijuan said seriously, "Gao Lin, what's this man's strength? Even if it's poisonous, it wouldn't have such a terrifying power." Under everyone's questioning gaze, Gao Lin finally said, "This person was Master Mo Huayuan's elder brother. He used a secret technique to break through to the level of a Nine Heavens martial sovereign, but he left behind a huge internal problem. The Southern Fire golden crystal essence is one of the most precious treasures to suppress the injuries in his body. Under Grandmaster Mo Huayuan's request, we brought this person to this underground maze in the hope of finding the essence. At the very least, the power of the Southern Fire golden crystal mine vein here is surging, which is extremely beneficial to suppress his injuries. Who knew that the poison would actually enter his body and cause him to lose his mind?" Everyone was shocked. This person's background was so great that he was actually Mo Huayuan's elder brother. As an 8th-tier great alchemist, Mo Huayuan enjoyed a superior status in Nanhua City. In the hearts of most people, he was like a god, and they respected him greatly whenever they talked about him. Tan Dijuan's face turned as red as a pig's liver. He gritted his teeth and said angrily, "You're saying that this person is a martial sovereign of the Nine Heavens? Then what was the point of fighting? He can kill us all in one move. But judging from his attack just now, he doesn't seem to have the power of a martial supreme," said Gao Lin. "Could it be that his strength has weakened after being poisoned by the mine?" Yunxiao immediately understood what was going on when he heard Gao Lin's words. However, there seemed to be some key points that had been hidden. However, that was no longer important. The important thing was how to help Mo Xiaochuan recover. This disciple was the one who had the most tragic experience out of all his disciples. He was also the one he was most concerned about. He did not expect that things would remain the same today, but the person had changed. Yunxiao calmed his mind and said, "His power is still suppressing the mine poison, so his strength is being suppressed." In other words, he had not completely lost his spiritual sense. Otherwise, with such a deep poison, his strength should have increased by another level. "Everyone, let's work together and help me suppress him." The Northern Heaven cold star sword in his hand followed his emotions, turning from the autumn water's shining cold light into a firefly reflecting the snow. Water watered all things, but no one fought. At this moment, his mind was focused on saving people, and he wanted to save them at all costs. "Young Master Yun, are you confident?" Tan Dijuan asked. "No," Yunxiao said. "But if you don't help me, you'll be killed by him. All the labyrinth passages in the surroundings have been sealed off. Unless you have the ability to directly break through the Earth's crust, you can only wait for death." Tan Dijuan's expression changed. "All right," he said, "we'll help you as long as you can get him." He glanced at the chaotic land in the center, and his eyes flickered. Even if there are no treasures inside, at least the Southern Fire golden crystal essence is not lacking. "You can't even save your life," Gao Lin snorted coldly. "And you're still thinking of finding crystal sources? Shut up, you old man." Tan Dijuan shouted angrily. If he didn't hide too much from us, he wouldn't be in this situation. Gao Lin was seething with anger from his scolding, but he was helpless. He could only pull a long face, full of resentment. "Young Master Yun, what should we do now?" Sun Jiming asked. "I'll follow your arrangements." Everyone's eyes fell on Yunxiao. He had vaguely become their leader, but no one felt uncomfortable. They all looked at him expectantly, hoping that he could bring them out of this situation. I'll release my puppet later, Yunxiao said. I'll work with you to suppress him, and then I'll cast a sealing spell to seal him for a short time. Tan Dijuan was shocked. What kind of seal can seal a martial supreme? Even if it's a temporary seal, it won't be of much use. You don't have to worry about that, Yunxiao said. After the seal, there's nothing for us to do. You can do whatever you want. There was a flash of light between his eyebrows, and the gourd little King Kong immediately appeared beside him. Its body turned to the same height as him, and its two broad bean-like eyes flickered continuously, one purple and one green. The appearance of the calabash little King Kong calmed everyone down a little. This was a puppet that could fight against an 8th-rank demonic beast. Even if it wasn't as powerful as Tan Dijuan and Gao Lin, it wasn't far from them. Coupled with the powerful Yunxiao and more than a dozen other low-star martial supremes, they suddenly felt that they had the confidence to compete with a martial emperor. Only Tan Dijuan and the others knew that no matter how powerful a Wu Zun was, he could not compete with the Emperor Qi of the 9 heavens. It was true that everyone below the Emperor Qi was an ant. Fortunately, although Mo Xiaochuan was strong, he did not seem to have unleashed the Emperor Qi of the 9 heavens. Perhaps, as Yunxiao had said, a trace of his consciousness was still struggling to resist the mind poison, but his body was no longer under his control. Yunxiao looked at Mo Xiaochuan, who was walking toward him step by step, and the complicated look in his eyes was swept away, replaced by a fierce look as he shouted, "Begin. Use all your strength to suppress him." Whoosh. The calabash little King Kong took the lead and rushed up. It was only with it leading the way that everyone had the courage to follow. Otherwise, Tan Dijuan, Sun Jiming, and the injured Ing Lin wouldn't have been able to stand out and fight a martial supreme head-on. The calabash little King Kong had no wisdom, so it was fearless. With a roar, it raised its fist and twisted the space with a King Kong fist, pressing down. A strange thought welled up in everyone's hearts. How could the puppet still roar and use the Vajra fist? However, they did not have the time to think about this. Instead, they attacked together. Under the powerful joint attack of more than 10 martial venerables, hundreds of people released their weapons one after another. For a moment, the entire space was incomparably gorgeous. All kinds of lights bloomed and all of them rushed towards Mo Xiaochuan. Mo Xiaochuan's bloodshot eyes glowed with a cold, vicious light. He formed an incantation gesture with his right hand and pointed directly at the calabash little King Kong's fist wind. The space that had been bent by the pressure instantly twisted in the opposite direction. As Mo Xiaochuan moved his hands, the power of space was like a layer of water film that extended towards the gourd little King Kong, enveloping it completely. Then, with a palm seal, the gourd little King Kong disappeared in the air with a whoosh. His entire movement was as smooth as floating clouds and flowing water, as fast as lightning. In everyone's eyes, after he pressed the seal, the puppet completely disappeared. They were terrified and secretly prayed that they would not face this person head-on. The moment the calabash King Kong was knocked away, Yunxiao's demon-slaying sword flew out of the northern heaven frigid star sword. A dragon roared in the air, then spiraled down, its head roaring and emitting a monstrous sword aura as it slashed down. Gao Lin's brick and Tan Dijuan's smog also attacked from the left and right. Sun Jiming and more than 10 martial supremes also joined forces. In the entire space, more than 10 domains overlapped and intertwined, locking Mo Xiaochuan in place. Mo Xiaochuan raised his head, completely unbothered by the attacks of the crowd. Instead, he stared at the demon-slaying sword Qi. A trace of doubt and struggle flashed through his cold eyes, and he was momentarily dazed. And it was this moment of distraction that allowed him to take the best opportunity to attack, and hundreds of attacks came one after another. Boom, boom, boom. All sorts of treasured swords and oddly shaped weapons rained down on Mo Xiaochuan's protective true Qi. Although they could not penetrate it, they were weakening. As the powerful force of the martial venerables fell, he finally showed a look of shock and anger. He roared and threw a punch, which directly hit the brick, leaving a deep fist shadow and falling down after losing all its light. Then, Tan Dijuan's misty energy transformed into a human form. He opened his mouth wide and bit down on Mo Xiaochuan's upper body. Under the stimulation of Mo Xiaochuan's red true qi, he used both his hands to support his cheeks so that they wouldn't burst. But in the end, he was still cut down by the other party's palm and the human figure was split into pieces. Then, the finger radiance and sword qi attacked, but they were all easily resolved by him. Young Master Yun. Tan Dijuan said in surprise, "What are you waiting for? We can't hold them back." Yun Xiao did not stop for even a moment after he unleashed the sword beam. Instead, he kept performing incantation gestures with both hands, forming a circular ceiling array in front of him. Finally, it condensed in his palm, and he teleported to Mo Xiaochuan's back with a form displacement spell. With a light cry, he slapped the latter's back. Mo Xiaochuan was displaying his might by launching hundreds of attacks when Yun Xiao's palm landed on his back with the power of a seal. He immediately let out a soft grunt and his body stiffened in the air. Everyone was overjoyed, as if they had seen the hope of victory. Only Yun Xiao's expression changed drastically. A powerful fire elemental power burst out of Mo Xiaochuan's body, pushing back all the sealing power. 10,000 rays of red light shot out from the spot where the palm force had struck. Following that, an earth-shattering roar came from within his body. The 10,000 rays of red light actually gathered outside his body, revealing the appearance of an evil beast. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws as it roared in the air. Its voice was exactly the same as Mo Xiaochuan's. Yun Xiao's pupils constricted as the red light was pushed back into his body by the force. His entire body instantly turned into a golden light, like a golden body dharma form, blocking all the red light, unable to invade at all. Indestructible golden body, no evil could invade. At this moment, he was like a god who had descended from the heavens. The evil beast demon form was stunned for a moment before it returned to Mo Xiaochuan's body. Mo Xiaochuan roared. It was the sound of the evil beast. It shook off the hundreds of attacks and opened up a path to escape to the center of the red chaos. Mo Xiaochuan rushed into the red chaotic land in the center and the entire space instantly settled down. Even the southern fire golden crystal mineral liquid in the Ring River calmed down and flowed slowly. Everything returned to its previous calm. Pfft. Yun Xiao coughed out a mouthful of blood, and his spiritual power suddenly fell, his face pale. Although the imperishable golden body had blocked the red light from the evil beast's demonic form, it had injured his internal organs, which he had been forcibly suppressing. At this moment, he finally couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of black rotten blood, the worry in his eyes even heavier. Young Master Yun. Han Qian was the first one who flew up to him, holding him up anxiously. What's wrong with you? Yun Xiao shook his head slightly, and the golden light gradually receded from his body. He kept sending out incantations into the void with both hands, condensing them into a circle of golden patterns. Then, the space was opened, and the Calabash King Kong rushed out with a roar. Its two broad bean-sized eyes turned around, and after finding no enemy, it stood still beside Yun Xiao. Tan Dijuan and the others also flew into the air and circled around Yun Xiao as they said, "Young Master Yun, what was that red beast just now?" Yun Xiao's face was pale, and it took him a few medicinal pills to recover. Staring at the red chaotic region in the center, he said in a deep voice, "That's a spirit, the spirit of the Southern Fire Golden Crystal Mine." He was the only one who knew the danger of the backlash just now. If not for his indestructible golden body, he would have been on the verge of death. Spirit of transformation? This? Everyone was shocked and felt a chill in their hearts. Gao Lin's expression changed. How many years does an unintelligent body have to go through to form a spirit? If this place was once the treasure vault of the North Scorpion sect, it proves that someone came here thousands of years ago. How could there be a shape-shifting object here? Everyone was frowning as well, feeling that it was a little difficult to understand. Could it be that the North Scorpion sect left this spirit here to guard the treasure? Sun Jiming suddenly asked. It's very possible, Yun Xiao said seriously. This spirit is extraordinary. Although he is not as strong as a martial sovereign, he can't be underestimated. To make matters worse, it was now attached to body, making it even more difficult to force it out. If I'm not wrong, this is the evil spirit that Xiaochuan has been fighting so hard against. Shinduyo shouted, who cares what kind of evil spirit it is? It's already escaped, so we don't have to chase it anymore. And NBSP, leaving this place is the right way to go. We'll return and report this to the sect leader. With the sect leader's status as a martial emperor overseeing this place, we'll definitely be able to take care of Mo Xiaochuan and the evil spirit. Tan Dijuan thought it might be a good idea. If a martial sovereign of the ninth heaven was here, it would be easy for him to deal with these people. However, the rest of the people's expressions changed drastically. If Zhang Linghua came, they would not be able to get any benefits from this place. At most, the other party would be kind and squeeze a little out of the gaps between their teeth for you, but that would really not be worth it. Mei Dong said, Elder Zhen is right, but this passage is still sealed. How can we get out? It was only then that the crowd realized that even though Mo Xiaochuan had escaped, the passageway had not opened up. For some reason, many of them heaved a sigh of relief. Shinduyo snorted and said, let's think of a way together. We'll definitely be able to open it. And NBSP, at worst, we'll just force our way out. Tan Dijuan shook his head helplessly. If they forced their way into the tunnel, they wouldn't be able to get out even if they had the map. This was because this was a living passage, and from the looks of it, the control center of this passage should be in the red chaos in the center, and it had a great relationship with the evil spirit. Young Master Yun, do you have any good ideas? Xiao Minghui asked. If we forcefully break the passage, do you have the confidence to lead everyone out? Yun Xiao's performance from the beginning to the present had made him the leader of the crowd, and no one objected to his opinions. Besides, it was Yun Xiao who had sensed the fluctuation of the Southern Fire Golden Crystal's aura that had allowed him to bring them here. No matter what the situation is, I must save Mo Xiaochuan, Yun Xiao said. So, don't expect me to lead the way. As for you, it seems that you won't be able to open the labyrinth's passage unless you enter the red zone. If you want to live, come with me to save Mo Xiaochuan and destroy the evil spirit. Shen Duyo's expression changed slightly. How could you be so selfish? He said angrily, you don't care about everyone's lives. Yun Xiao looked at him as if he was an idiot and snorted coldly. Sect Master Tan, take care of your low IQ subordinates. I'm upset now and I don't want to hear such stupid words. You coward. Shen Duyo's face was livid with anger. The other party had actually called him a low IQ in front of everyone. Looking at Yun Xiao's seriously injured body, a murderous look appeared in his eyes. Tan Dijuan also sensed his killing intent. He snorted and shouted, Elder Zhen, stand down. The rest of the people looked at Shen Duyo with eyes full of ridicule. Low IQ is not wrong. It is the freedom of others to lead the way or not. Those fair and selfless words usually fool fools, but at this critical moment, you actually said it. Saying that you have low IQ is already giving you face. In my opinion, you should have 0 IQ. Shen Duyo's embarrassment turned into anger. He snorted heavily and flew to the ground, no longer paying attention to the crowd. Young Master Yun, it's not that we don't want to help you save Mo Xiaochuan, but we don't have the ability to do so, Gao Lin said in a deep voice. You name a price and lead everyone out of this maze. As long as you can afford it, everyone will definitely pay. How many origin stones do you need? Just tell me. Not to mention the difficulty of saving Mo Xiaochuan, even if it was a simple task, he would not want to save him. Moreover, it also involved some issues with the Chamber of Commerce. If Mo Huayuan were to find out about this, he would be in deep trouble. Even without considering Mo Huayuan, Mo Xiaochuan was a martial sovereign of the 9 heavens, and that was enough to put him in a difficult position. Yun Xiao had also guessed that Mo Xiaochuan's promise to the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce should also have something to do with it. This also explained why Mo Huayuan's expression had been so intense when she had asked him about Mo Xiaochuan. The Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce must have done something. However, he was unable to pursue the matter now, and he still needed to borrow the power of the Chamber of Commerce. The other forces also responded, right. Name a number, and if everyone thinks it's feasible, we'll give you primeval stones. Bring everyone out. Yun Xiao gave him a cold look, and the penetrating look in his eyes made Gao Lin's hair stand on end, as if all the secrets in his heart had been known by Yun Xiao. He felt an unspeakable pain all over his body as he said in a daze, "Young Master Yun, just give me a number." Yun Xiao snorted and retracted his fierce look. "If you really want me to give you a price, then I'll definitely give you your head. Are you going to give it to me or not?" Gao Lin's expression changed drastically, and he couldn't help but take a step back in the air. He became extremely alert and said angrily, "Li Yun Xiao, we're all in the same boat now. What do you want to do?" While keeping his guard up against Yun Xiao, he observed everyone's expressions. The more he looked, the more shocked he became. He was sure that if Yun Xiao really made the offer, the people present would not mind joining forces to take his life. At the thought of this, he broke out in cold sweat. "Don't worry," Yun Xiao snorted. "You look like a pig. I'm not interested in your head at all. Otherwise, he wouldn't have saved him earlier. To tell you the truth, I have a close relationship with Mo Xiaochuan, so I must save him. I don't care even if you give me everything you have. Also, Mo Xiaochuan is the young master of the Mo clan in Black Iron City. If Black Iron City finds out about this and takes their anger out on you, you'll all be dead too." Hearing the name, Black Iron City, everybody felt cold. Although Black Iron City was not one of the 7 superpowers, it was an existence that even the 7 superpowers would not want to provoke. Even if Gao Lin was proud of the Thunder and Wind Chamber of Commerce's background, if the headquarters of the Chamber of Commerce knew that he had offended the people of Black Iron City, they would kill him without a second thought to stop the war. After thinking for a while, Tan Dijuan couldn't think of a second option, so he said, "Young Master Yun, are you saying that we should all follow you into the red chaos in the center?" At the very least, they had to give it some thought and give everyone some confidence. Otherwise, who knows if there are any other dangers in there? Not bad. No one knows the situation inside, Yun Xiao said. Even my divine sense has been blocked. However, everyone must be clear that going in to save Mo Xiaochuan is also saving your own lives. Don't think that you're doing things for me and act so unwillingly. I won't force those who are unwilling to come. Just don't follow me when you're running for your life." A gloomy look rose on everyone's faces. Even if the passage was opened, it was unlikely that they could get out without Yun Xiao's guidance. His words were clearly binding everyone to his chariot. Sun Jiming said, "Young Master Yun, you're right. Helping others is equivalent to helping yourself." Just like how young Master Yun had saved President Qian earlier, everyone was in the same boat, so they naturally had to work together to overcome this difficulty. Besides, I'd also like to meet the heroes of Black Iron City. Even if I don't have a relationship with young Master Yun, I'll still have to help you today. After knowing that there was no way out, Sun Jiming expressed his attitude and stance with a straight face. Although they were despised by the crowd, they had no choice since the big shots had spoken. Good, it's rare for everyone to be like this. As long as it's done, I'll do my best to get everyone out of the trap. If there are benefits, it is guaranteed that everyone will get a share. It is only a matter of how much. Yun Xiao began to win over the people's hearts as he said, "Also, President Gao, as long as you do your best to help me save them, I can write off all the things you've done before. Otherwise, you'll get what you deserve." A glimmer of hope welled up in everyone's hearts. With Yun Xiao's promise, they all felt secure, whether it was escaping or finding the treasure. Only Tan Dijuan and the other members of the local forces frowned. There was no sign of the treasure for the time being. Even if there was, how could Yun Xiao distribute it? He could even guarantee that he had a share. Did he really want him to share the treasure alone? All of them were dissatisfied.